right, welcome to another episode of the Deals for Dentists podcast. And today we are joined by Elijah Desmond, and he is zooming in from West Palm Beach.
Yes.
And so Elijah, the second episode of my podcast, I interviewed Dr. Howard Ferran, and I told him that I thought he was the James Brown of dentistry because he was the hardest working, busiest guy in dental show business. But I think you may give him a run for his money because you are a busy dude. You're a dad, a husband, a serial entrepreneur. You have kids. You work with charities. You're a motivational speaker, a DJ, an MC, a hygienist. I mean, how do you juggle all of these things?
I have amazing teams. My teams juggle those things, right? So I have amazing teams that have amazing cultures within them, and I'm just a visionary. So I have an idea, and I tap the right person on the team. That's the team leader, and they go and they carry out that idea. And so it's really them. It's not me.
So how do you go about, what's your process of finding these great teams and finding the great staff?
Crazy you asked that. I about 5 years ago, I seen in our industry on social media, I actually seen a lot of negativity. And as a motivational speaker, I run from negativity, opposite way of Eli. And I wanted to create a group that was extremely positive. It was all about empowering and coming together, not eating your own. In dentistry, I think that I see so often people are, dental professionals are eating their own. It's stressful. I wanted to create an environment, a group that was all about empowerment and opportunities and support. So I created a group called Trapped in an Op, kind of like trapped in an operatory, because that's how I felt as a dental professional. I wanted out of the clinical operatory. And so I created this group, and I wanted to kind of intertwine my motivational speaking that I've done for kids, for so many years into a dental group. But I wanted to expose the way that I felt. I felt that I love my industry, I love my profession, but I wanted to expose that there's so many other opportunities that you can have outside of clinical. There's nothing wrong with clinical. In fact, if we didn't have clinical professionals, what would we do? We wouldn't even have an industry. But there's so many other opportunities that our industry allows for. So I started talking about it, and it turns out that I wasn't the only one that felt trapped with 3 walls around me in that dental practice. There's so many other people. So now today, I started that group with about a couple hundred people. Now we have almost 18,000 members, and 16,500 were active in the past 28 days. So it's very busy. So whenever I want to go out and hire team members, I go straight to that page. And everybody on that page, I've spent so much time cultivating this amazing, group. It's easy for me to go and hire. So, one of my biggest businesses, I now have 30 team members, and pretty much all of them came from there, for the most part.
So you've created your own farm system of recruiting from your own Facebook page. Was that one of your first endeavors? One of your first things outside of hygiene, other than you said you were doing some motivational speaking with kids?
No, I would say, the Facebook group it's always been more of a give, right? So it's not really an endeavor, but it was one of the, look, I created it in 2016, 2015. So it was one of the things that I did first. I've created 18 businesses since I graduated from Ohio State University as a hygienist in 2009. So I've done a ton of things. I would say that's one of the things I would call towards the beginning before I really skyrocketed my career.
So so your journey started, you went to Ohio State for hygiene. Did you go to undergrad there as well?
Yes. So, yeah, I did. I went to Stark State College actually for 2 years. So I tested out of college. I tested out of high school at 15 years old. And I went to Stark State for 2 years, went to college there, and then I went 4 years at Ohio State University. So I went 6 years total, and then I graduated with a bachelor's in science and hygiene, and then I moved to Hawaii. and started my first business. 2 months after practicing, I'm like, how in the world am I making $400 in a day, and I just made the dentist like 2,500 or $3,000? And yes, I'm a high producing hygienist, but I'm like, it doesn't register with me. I have entrepreneur spirit, and it didn't match up. So I'm like, I need to start my first business, and I did it immediately. Like literally a couple of months after I started practicing, I started my first business.
Now, why did you? What got you into hygiene? What made you think about going to hygiene school? How did you get involved with dentistry?
Well, my aunt's a hygienist. My uncle is a dentist. My mom is an office manager, all different offices. I was raised on a big farm doing labor, hot work, and I knew that I did not want to be shoveling crap for the rest of my life and baling head. I knew I wanted to work in air conditioning. And it didn't make sense for me to go to dental school because I knew long term I didn't want to practice clinically. But I knew that it takes money to make money. And I knew that starting off, at $40 an hour plus as a hygienist made more sense to me than essentially going to school for however much longer it took to be a dentist. But I knew I wasn't going to stay practicing clinically. I also knew that I had the ability with an education to do the exact same thing that a dentist could do, essentially, outside of clinical. And I knew that. I took it and I ran with it.
So you did 4 years of undergrad, then 2 years of hygiene, and then you were like shot out of a cannon, and you moved to Hawaii and you started practice. Is that where you're originally from, and where your family is involved with dentistry, or?
Even though I look a little Polynesian, I'm from Ohio, and I moved to Hawaii. And I was there for 3.5 years, and I moved to Vegas where I met my wife. Then we moved down here to Florida outside of West Palm Beach.
Okay. Yeah, I figured you said it was hot and you were shoveling. I figured you were, out in somewhere warm, but you've experienced winters. I'm outside of Boston, so you know what winters are like then.
I do.
Yeah. So you were, like I said, you were like shot out of a cannon, and you had that entrepreneurial spirit like really early on. And I've watched, I was watching, some videos of you. You were at a live event, and you were like, you had such control over the stage, and you were dancing and playing music, and you're having so much fun and so engaged with the audience. You were talking about how, the trip was about memories, and you got everyone involved, and dentists, hygienists. I heard you say guy-genists, which is a great term there. Anyone in a dental office, the assistant, spouses, front office, you're getting everyone involved, and you're telling stories, and it looked so unscripted, and you just looked so comfortable. Was that something you were born with, or did you have to groom that ability? Or because I struggled, for years, being an introvert and always wanting to please everyone, and not being comfortable in my own skin. And I had to, I'm writing a book about this as well, because I think it's a problem in dentistry and in all aspects of the business. And I always wanted to make everyone happy, and I wasn't comfortable in my own skin. So now I'm more comfortable, speaking in front of a group or saying no to people. And is that something you were born with?
Totally born with it. I am definitely a people pleaser, though. No question about that. I do not like when people don't like me. I will never fake it, though, for anybody. Mm-hmm. I'm me, and I never go outside of me to please somebody. If it's not within who I am, I won't do it. But it's hurtful, right? Whenever somebody doesn't like me, especially for a reason that's maybe not even true, right? Or maybe misunderstood. I color outside the lines a lot. Mm-hmm. I make my own rules, which is why I probably am an entrepreneur. I don't follow rules too well, but I always respect people, right? I always do the right thing. I always give back. But as far as being a people pleaser, that's me all day, but I'm not introverted. I love the stage. I do not do scripted talks at all. You will never see me put up like a PowerPoint that has these a whole bunch of writing on the PowerPoint. I put up a picture and I story talk. I engage with the audience. I don't believe in lectures either, right? I want to talk with people. I want it to be, you and I and me and the audience talking. I also believe in energy, right? Setting the stage before I get on stage. I want walk-on music. I want you out of your seats. I want to have a good time, and I want the audience to have a good time too. And so, no, I was built to the stage for sure.
Now, did you start motivational speaking? Did you just kind of just get involved with that? Did you train for it? Were you, not as good as you are now at it? Tell me about that process.
Yeah, I think everybody, there's always levels to anybody in the speaking world or anything you do, right? So you always improve, you always get better. And I'll say with me, as time goes on, you develop more stories, right? Because for me, all speaking is a storytelling, right? An enhanced storytelling, and getting being able to paint a picture in somebody's head so they can actually feel what you feel, to give somebody goosebumps, to make somebody cry intentionally, to make somebody laugh intentionally, to motivate somebody intentionally. And so that's a craft, but it's all through storytelling. And was I really good at it first? I would say yes. I know how to connect with people, but did I take classes to get better? Absolutely. I was, and I'm still far from the best. I still have so much to learn, but all it is engaging with people and communicating with people and having interesting topics, interesting things, and talking about things most people won't talk about. And I got involved with it at 15. So at 15, I tested into college, and I was asked to speak at my local, high schools, middle schools, and I loved it. Like, I was total natural. I loved it. And then I became addicted, right? I became addicted to it. I became addicted to the crowd. And I'll tell you what I became addicted to most. My addiction came to the tears and the life-changing moments. Whenever I get off stage, every single time, there's never been a time it hasn't happened. Every time when I get off stage, I have a line of people, because I ask for, listen, if you want to talk to me afterwards, I'd love to talk to you. I'll be able to go behind the stage or right here in the corner, come talk to me. I will have a line of people, and I will have the biggest hugs you ever got, right? Those hugs that where the kids, they squeeze you and they don't let go. And the reason why they don't let go is because you just saved their life, or you changed their life, and they're crying. They're crying, and there's no better feeling than to know that you actually changed somebody's life. I became addicted to changing people's lives and to saving people's lives through my own vulnerable stories, personal stories. And I only look to change one person's life or to affect one person's life when I get on stage. And it feels so good to be able to do that. So what I've done is I've taken that as I go and I travel the world speaking to high schools. And I said, look, how do I make a bigger impact? So now the season that I've transitioned to before coronavirus is now I'm doing motivational concerts. And that's where I bring 5 to 10 high schools and put them all into like a football field or arena. And they're all there. And now I'm bringing 2 motivational speakers with me, depending on what the school districts want. And I'm playing music at the very beginning as a DJ to get everybody pumped up for 10, 15 minutes. And each speaker's coming up for 30 minutes at a time. I'm the last speaker. And then we actually give out a car for a kid that tests into college at 15, 16 years old, kind of like I did.
Wow.
And so we give a car out as well. So it's been an awesome journey. My biggest sponsors are Nike, Sam's Club, Dick's Sporting Goods. I mean, we're doing some big things, and we're changing lives. And it's good to be representing our industry as a dental professional and doing all these things.
Now, so after these events, and you have all these amazing people coming up to you with stories, do you find that re-energizing for you, or is it kind of like after these shows, are you drained after a show or a conference? or do you get re-energized from all these hugs and?
No, I'm drained only whenever I go to the room and I'm by myself.
Yeah.
But I'm not drained at all, like after or during. When I'm in the moment, I'm like on 10. I'm on a 10 and I love it. I love everything about it. I'm only drained because there's so much energy that it takes to put that out through a microphone to the audience. And when you go and you share someone's emotions so deep, when you are hugging them so strong and they don't let go, there's so much body energy that goes into that. And then you go to the next person and a similar thing happens. It takes so much from you, and it's a good thing. It's an amazing feeling. But by the time you get to the room, you're ready to relax. Like you are drained, but it's a good drain. I mean, it's what I live for this stuff.
Now, is it? I mean, it's one thing to to connect with that 60-year-old hygienist or dentist, but when you're connecting with a high school student, that must be like 10 times more of the energy and emotion.
Yes, thank you for making that comparison. In fact, I went to this is 2 years ago. I went to a huge dental conference and spoke in front of hundreds of dental professionals. Same day, I went and I spoke at a high school in Michigan and spoke to hundreds of high schoolers. And the difference when you get off the stage is completely different, right? You made an impact when you go to the dental conference, and I love my dental people, don't get me wrong. But I saved somebody's life. I saved somebody's life when I went to the high school. Like, it's such an amazing, rewarding feeling, and I've done that, and I know where I belong. So now what I'm doing is I'm actually in dentistry. I'm transitioning to emceeing dental conferences, right? I'm transitioning because listen, I can speak at them all day, but I really enjoy elevating others and setting the stage for other people and making sure that everybody in that room, that community, is having just an amazing experience. Now I get to go backstage and meet these influencers in the green room and find out what is so great about them. I'm not reading a script like from a bio. I want to know something that's interesting about them, and I want to know their walk-on song, right? So I get everybody up out of their seat and get them pumped up for somebody else. They don't need to hear my story. They need to hear everybody else's story. So that's my transition in the dental space. Literally, this is 2021 for me, is to step down from speaking so much and give the mic to other people, but literally emceeing and introducing them and keeping the communities growing and thriving and making that experience at dental conferences go.
Yeah. So when you're speaking, you're doing your 45-minute or hour speech, and then you're kind of done. But when you're emceeing, you're involved with the whole production and all the speakers. So you're really, even more involved. So that's pretty powerful. So on Deals for Dentists, you actually have 3 businesses that I wanted to talk about. Let's start with Lyfee. Can you explain what Lyfee is?
Yes, absolutely. So I basically seen a niche in the dental industry, and I knew it needed filled. CBD is everywhere, and you don't know if you're getting it from somebody's backyard or kitchen, or you're getting it from a legit place. There's also nobody in dentistry there's no house brand for CBD, and dentistry hasn't taken it in yet. And I said, okay, well, I draw outside the lines often. I want to be that first company, right? So we went in and did it. So I'm partners with a world-renowned orthodontist who's helped me create this, and we have a factory outside of Chicago. The factory is a FDA audited factory. Very important, because most CBD is not FDA regulated. We treat it as if it is. So it gets tested before it comes in. It gets tested in our own labs, and then it gets tested in third-party testing as well with a certificate of analysis, which is very important. But we have tinctures to help with sleep. We have sprays that helps with anxiety and sleep and inflammation. And then we also have dry mouth spray as well that doesn't have CBD in it. And we're going to be coming out with more products as time goes on. But essentially what happens is, as patients are getting it other places, why not get it from you, right? Why not get it from you? It's going in your mouth, it's oral. Why not get it from you? And so a lot of patients come in with dental anxiety. This helps tremendously with dental anxiety. This also has zinc in it as well. We increase the zinc by 2.5 times because that's helping with your immunity. And everybody's about boosting their immunity now. And it's just an amazing product. The tincture helps you sleep. A lot of people suffer from insomnia and stress and staying up late, and this allows you to have like the best sleep that you could ever have. And it's just amazing to be first to market for CBD in our own industry. And look, CBD is not for everyone. For the people that it's not for, we have our dry mouth spray, and that has xylitol in it, and zinc, and essential oils. And it's been amazing for the patients that are suffering from dry mouth.
Now, what is CBN?
Yeah, so CBN is another cannabinoid. It's just CBD, but it's a very potent version of CBD. So where we have 1,000 milligrams of CBD, CBN, we only have 150 milligrams in that container. It's very strong, helps you to relax. This gives your body, the relaxed feeling. And there's no psychoactive type of ingredient. So there's no THC, right? So you're not gonna, have to worry about that. And it just gives your body the ability to just completely relax. And, I personally got up 3-4 times during the night, every night. You don't get up during the night. Now, I don't have to get up during the night. I don't have to get up until 7, typically. I'm usually up by about 6 o'clock and feel so rested, I don't need to go back to sleep.
Yeah, I get up like twice a night, but that's because I have to pee. But it's just me getting older. So a dentist could actually give this to their patients chairside. How long does it take to affect
Yes.
and make a patient less anxious?
We'll say 20 to 30 minutes for the spray is the typical time to make the patients less anxious. That's what we recommend for the people that are using it for dental anxiety in their practice. Patients can get it before they come, or patients can take it then, just when they're waiting. But 20, 30 minutes, and it works very well. It's very effective.
So could I say 2 sprays for me, 2 sprays for you to the patient so everyone's relaxed?
Yeah, I'd probably use more like 3 to 5, but yes.
That's awesome. So, okay, so that is really cool. And I think, first of all, obviously anxiety for patients is a huge issue, but dry mouth as well. Dry mouth is a major issue for patients that are on medications or they're elderly, or we see people go quickly from having no issues to rampant caries because of dry mouth. It's such an issue. So I think that is a really important product. You also have driven dental marketing on dealsfordentists.com and a new virtual patient advocate campaign. Can you explain what that's all about?
Yes, absolutely. So essentially, we're a marketing company, and we have a niche, and it's for dental offices that focus or want more implant patients. These are dental offices that place and restore the implants. And our marketing company is so different because we actually do a 1-hour consultation with the patient prior to getting them scheduled to you. So we don't actually send you leads, we actually send you patients and we do the financing as well. So we actually will finance the patient, and most patients do not, they're not able to get financed because their credit doesn't fit. That means you don't have to waste the time, right? So you got 90% of your patients that you're marketing to for implants that are essentially not able to get the credit. They don't have the money. But those are the patients that are typically taking up your time and wasting your time. And so what we've done is we've actually been able to, hire about 15 high-level treatment coordinators to pre-screen them, to educate them, to build a relationship. And then we work with about 5 finance companies to get them pre-qualified for $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $60,000 treatments ahead of time. So we basically drive them to the 2-yard line. You just got to close them. We do not diagnose. The office diagnoses them. but we talk about the options. We have extremely high level treatment coordinators who basically go over everything with the patient, different options that are potential options. There's no diagnosis. And by the time that we schedule them in the chair for the office, they're pretty much ready to go. And so we're able to get 2 to 4 patients per month for the practices. And it's been absolutely amazing to be offering this program. So they offices kind of look at us as an additional team member, not so much a marketing company, but it's like all in one, if that makes sense.
So that's what you mean by, flipping the script, where you're actually, traditional marketing campaigns, you're just like throwing it out to everyone, and you get a patient in the chair and you could have an hour consult and it could be a total waste of time. Whereas you're already doing the consults, and you're educating the patient, you're seeing if they qualify for financing or financing yourself. So once they're in the chair, they're ready to go. So that's pretty cool, because traditional marketing, you're starting on the 50-yard line. Okay, you got them in the office, but now you have to educate them. Do they have the money, or are they even a good candidate? So it could be a 50-50 scenario. So that is pretty cool. Okay, so then you also on dealsfordentists.com. Is this your baby, Smiles at Sea? Is this like your greatest creation?
It's my greatest creation ever. It is my baby. Right now, the rest of my many other businesses are holding up the ship, right? As you know, coronavirus hit the cruise industry really hard, right? And so we had to cancel now 3 different cruise events. But the good news is we will be sailing in the fall of 2021, but we're also having a land event in Miami on April the 14th to the 18th, which is extremely exciting. I know if you go on the Deals for Dentists, I believe you can get, I think it's $50 off for the general admission. So basically what I've done is I've rented out the entire embassy suites, and we have like 8 different tracks, like certification courses, workshops, Botox, Uvula filler certification, hard tissue, soft tissue certification, airway work, 2-day workshop, sleep 2-day workshop, practice management workshop. We have a ton of general sessions. We'll have over 100 speakers there. I mean, it's going to be absolutely amazing. Here's something that's different about Smiles at Sea is we have this very specific core value, 104 core values, and it's called fun. If it's not fun, we don't do it, right? So we're built for dentists and team members, like kind of like team retreats. And essentially what we do is one night we'll have a Havana pool party. So we have the whole pool party, hot tub. We have a DJ. We have a Havana cigar roller for a cigar booth. We have a bottle service for the outside, glow sticks. We have dancers. I mean, it's literally the most fun you'll ever have. One night we have a casino night with 40 tables. It's going to be so amazing. We have a black tie event with all the influencers that will be there, red carpet event, literally, tuxedos, dresses, DJ will be there as well. And then we'll have Sunday Fun Day, which is in South Beach, Miami. We're trying to rent out the Clevelander Hotel right now. It's going to be an event that you will not want to miss. We're really looking forward to it. And you can get up to 24 hours of continuing education. And I think people are now to the point where they need to see people, right? Yeah. People want to see people. And here's another thing. Let me be very clear about this. I went to a conference called Meeting Planner International, and I went there for one specific reason. How do we have a safe conference in 2021, right? How do we have a fun but safe conference? So we will be safe at these conferences. We'll be checking temperatures, right? We'll be wearing masks. We're going to be doing all the things that we're supposed to be doing to keep people safe during these times.
Yeah, I was telling my kids about the cruise, and they were like, I want to go now. So I'm going to tell them, we have to wait for the fall. But the land event, leave the kids at home or family friendly?
Definitely leave the kids at home.
Okay.
Definitely leave the kids at home. This is a network.
Leave the kids at home, babe. Okay. All right. That sounds awesome. And I can't wait for the Smiles at Sea in the fall, because I love cruises because you can just eat anytime you want. There's always food.
Yeah.
All right. So I wanted to, then you also have like a million Facebook groups, right? So, yeah, I mean, you are like such a busy guy, and you've done, so many good things for the profession. I wanted to get back to Trapped in the Op, um, because, and I wanted to, talk about mental health and burnout in the dental profession, which is a big focus of mine. Um, uh, is burnout um, is burnout big in the profession, with hygienists, dentists, anyone in the profession?
Yes. Burnout is extremely big, and a lot of people are afraid to talk about it. And I have exposed that with my Facebook group called Trapped in an Op. And it's okay, right? It's totally okay to be burnt out within your profession. There's nothing wrong with it. And whenever you're burnt out, you can let it linger inside and eat you up, or you can talk about it. And we talk about it in the group, and we give other opportunities. I personally never let myself get burnt out. As soon as I'd seen that I was not enjoying every day going to work clinically, I created opportunity and pursued it.
I think that's so important to have, other things going on and distractions. Personally, for my mental health, I went and I got a therapist. I was suffering from burnout. I was suffering from anxiety. I was nervous all the time. I was afraid of getting sued. I thought about, leaving the profession, and I ended up, looking myself in the mirror, and I said, I got to do something. So I started to go to see a therapist. That, with a combination of some medications and soul searching and changes at work. It took years, but now I'm back to the point where I enjoy going to work every day. But I also have a website, a podcast, and I'm working on a book. So I have a lot of distractions to distract me from the stresses of the profession. And like you mentioned, I think having other avenues and other interests is really important, because if all I was doing was office, 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 I would probably still be suffering from burnout right now. Um, Now, hygiene is, I mean, I think hygiene is an amazing profession, because, you make good money. There's really not that much, here in Massachusetts, they can't really own their own business. I'm not sure about other states, but so there's less liability. But I think there's still, like you said, for hygienists, there could be a lot of burnout as well, because, they're doing a lot of the same procedures over and over. And with me personally, as a dentist, I can get up for my patient, get them numb, walk away, maybe go back to my office. Whereas a hygienist they're in there with that patient for 60 minutes. And, you know, they have to be on, and that can be really draining. And then you factor in the wrist and hand and, neck issues. I mean, there could really be a place for burnout.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, imagine doing the same exact thing 8 times a day, 4 or 5 days a week. That's rough. I mean, I realize that so quick. I'm like, there's no way I can sit here with this wall in front of me, 2 walls behind me, and this computer desk right behind me every single day and do the exact same thing. You couldn't pay me enough. And I needed to do something different, and I did it. And look, some people absolutely love it, and you have to find a way to love it. And I think it's through patience, right? Patient rapport, talking to the patients, getting to know them. And it's similar to a barber, right? You go on, or a beautician. You do some similar things over and over and over, but the joy is watching people grow and seeing results too. You have a patient come in that has periodontal disease or gingivitis, and getting them to a good point of health. That's very rewarding. There's a lot of rewarding things to the job, but burnout absolutely happens. And my proof is right in the group with 18,000 members who want to do something different, whether it's create a product or create a service or be a speaker or be a consultant or start writing, right? All those things I've done, right? I've wrote an Amazon bestseller. I've been a consultant. I've started a business. I've started a service. I've done everything for the most part. And so I've created that group to essentially teach people that, listen, there are other opportunities. You have an amazing profession, and here's how. And here's other people who've done it. And, once people understand that there's other opportunities, they start loving their profession again.
Yeah, and I think that the first step, with me personally, was to realize that I was going through a problem with anxiety, and I had to do something because it wasn't going to go away on its own. And I just said, "There's no way I can do this for the next 30 years." So I think that's an important lesson out there for especially young people in the profession to if you're getting burnt out, maybe it's time to add some other interests and maybe cut down your hours and start doing other things. So before we wrap up, I just want to finish with, you may have just touched on it right there, but if I was a graduating, a new hygienist or new dentist coming out in 2021, what would your advice be to them?
Absolutely. My advice would be to go into the profession, start practicing clinically, and open your eyes to the entire industry and know that you have so many options. Know that your degree will get you so many opportunities. You can decide if you want to be a speaker, be a writer, be a consultant, start your own business that's not necessarily a practice. You can start a business, you can start a product, you can go into public health. You can do everything that you can even imagine. Don't let anybody stop you from exploring what you can use with your degree. That's what I would recommend.
That's great advice. So again, Elijah, thanks so much for joining us. This is Elijah Desmond. If you go to dealsfordentist.com, you can find his promo offers for Lyfee, for Driven Dental Marketing, and for Smiles at Sea, which will be more, I guess, the land event, and then in the fall we'll go back to the cruise. So thanks so much for joining us. That was a lot of fun. Let's be in touch.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks, Elijah.
Take care.